first principle of value that we need to rediscover is this, that all reality hinges on moral foundations. In other words, that this is a moral universe and that there are moral laws of the universe just as abiding as the physical laws. Martin Luther King Jr. Hello, how do you do? And what's up everyone? Welcome to Step Up to Greatness and another episode of our Life Lessons videos. Each one of these videos is geared to help you examine yourself, the things that are important to you, and the way your life could be, aiming at motivating and inspiring you to move forward toward a life of greatness in order for you to be the healthiest and happiest version of yourself. I am Dustin Gruss, certified professional coach, personal trainer, and motivational public speaker. But you know our all-encompassing term here is greatness facilitator. Greatness defined as exceptionally high quality, and facilitator being someone who provides unobtrusive guidance and assistance. Yes, these videos are simply lessons and suggestions, not magic beans. You got to put in the work towards your goals and what you want out of life. Speaking of what you want out of life, what does your big picture look like? Do you have specific hopes, wishes, and dreams for your life? Key word there being specific. While we are all under some form of stay-at-home or shelter-in-place order, or at the very least, trying to follow recommended guidelines of social distancing during this COVID pandemic, we are faced with new circumstances that are making us shift our approach to life. And when this pandemic ends, we will likely be facing a new normal with different expectations and guidelines for us to follow as a society as well. Now, when I ask about the big picture in your life, your hopes, wishes, and desires, essentially our goals, they may change with the moments and events that occur in our lives. But they will still be goals, something specific and finite that you achieve. But I want to talk to you about what underpins a goal, that being your values. A value is an ongoing set of actions that represents who you want to be. We are a very goal-focused society, celebrating when we achieve things. Points scored, game won, sales made, dream house or car bought. When have you stopped to consider how you're living your life or playing the game? When have you stopped to define the values you want to embody when you step onto the field, into the office, or portray in front of your loved ones? When you stop to consider these things, you redefine your definition of success in a very powerful way. During this time of social distancing and isolation, you have a rare opportunity to not just shift what we're expected to do as a society, but inspect and shift your own values and ideas of success. An opportunity to ask yourself, what do you want to stand for and represent in your life? What would you want others to say about you when your time here is done? One of my favorite lines in a song recently comes from the rapper Macklemore in his song Glorious. In it he says, "I heard you die twice. Once when they bury you in that grave, and the second time is the last time somebody mentions your name. So when I leave here on this earth, did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame?" It is such an incredible reminder for me of my values. Yes, I obviously have a YouTube channel, and I have a podcast that I put out weekly. And it seems like every time I start to get caught up in the analytics and the number of views and whatnot, I hear from someone out of the blue about how much one of my messages meant to them. Yes, I want to make a living and use this platform as an outlet to grow. But my hope for more views and more listens isn't to become rich and famous and successful. That doesn't line up with my values. My hope is for more opportunities to be had where I may have made a difference in someone's life. That being more views and more listens. I became a greatness facilitator because I spent years floating around, or treading water to be more specific with my analogy, trying to keep my head above water. But it was words and encouragement from famous speakers and lesser known friends alike that helped me redefine who I wanted to be and how I defined success. It was finding my faith and my church family as a result that helped me redefine what I thought relationships and love should look like. And part of that new definition of love for me is to help others not feel the way I felt during that time of treading water. To help them stop treading that water and instead swim in the direction of their purpose-driven life. To become the greatest versions of themselves. Which brings me back to you, watching this now. Whether you feel like you've had direction, or been swimming in circles, or treading in place, you have the opportunity with this time to redefine your values, your belief system, your truths that you want to attach yourself to. You may be asking me now, Dustin, how do I go about setting my values? And two, why do you make my voice sound like that? Well, I can answer the first question for you, and that's just what I hear in my head for number two. But answering the first question, going somewhere that makes you feel comfortable and at peace or inspired and energized with something to write an answer on, I want you to answer these following questions. When it comes to your physical and psychological health, what kind of value do you put on maintaining your body and mind? What kind of role does spirituality play in your life? Is it one of high value and importance to you? A large part of my spirituality affects my relationships with other people. How do you view your ideal self in all your relationships? How would you act towards those you love? And who would you like to be as a partner, a child, a parent, a sibling, friend, colleague, boss? What values do you have around your leisure time? And why would this area of your life deserve as much attention as you want to give it? And lastly, what value do you place on continual learning and personal growth? There's a saying, if you're not growing, you're dying. Does this hold any water for you? These are just some of your basic questions that you can ask to discover some of your core values that you want to live by. Another way to discover some of your values is to think about the people you admire most in the world, perhaps who you would like to be like. What words would you use to describe them? What characteristics do you admire most? Those meaningful, powerful words that you believe embody the person you want to be more like, write them down somewhere and put them where you can see them every day, maybe several times throughout the day. There is the belief that we are the sum of the people we surround ourselves with. Even if you can't be near the person you admire most, if you surround yourself with reminders of the qualities and values you admire, you increase the likelihood of living by those same qualities, but in your own way. As I said earlier, outside circumstance may change our finite goals, but don't let your goals change your values. Don't lose the identity of who you are and who you want to be. No matter if it's a pandemic, a relationship ending, or loss of a job, stay steadfast, stay true. And, as always, keep moving forward and step up to greatness.